Okay, the action got recorded actually. So here we're talking about the 70-741, and this is the price here, and it's called networking with Windows Server 2016. So normally, what is this page? This page is skills being measured. So what is that? Skills measured. So Microsoft expects these skills to be in you after you are done with the course. These skills should be there, right? So instead of showing you boring course content page, I go for we should have some realistic targets there. And so what are those targets? So Microsoft says we expect you to know these after you are done with the course. Okay, so what are those things? When we expand, that's a lot of things. Many of the things you may have covered already, and some things do get repeated in next courses as well. So it starts with DNS. So first of all, guys, all about these exams, Microsoft expects, VMware expects, Citrix expects, Cisco expects what? That you already, only those guys are giving those exams who already have 2 years or 3 years of experience in this field. So these exams are meant for those who already are working in the same field. But it happens that in every college, it's always the new guys who don't have experience in this field. So we have to get to that experience first. So during the labs, we do gain that experience from there. But the main thing after that is that they have started with DNS. We're not going to start our course with this, but then after we are gone with the main labs, then I'm going to start. So I'm showing you as a reference what are the topics here for this course. But the way we're going to go is as if you got a project from some company, and you have to create the environment from the scratch. So we're going to go that way, right? So my first topic will not be DNS, but we're going to come to that DNS, and we're going to talk in detail, and we're going to cover all the topics of that. So here, implement domain name system, DNS, and there are advanced features here, DNSSEC, determine DNS installation requirements, determine supported DNS deployment scenarios on Nano Server. You may have done that already. What is Nano Server? And all root hints. What is DNS root hints? So we're going to go through the DNS. We're going to open the DNS console. We're going to go through so many options there, and we're going to try to discuss them, why this option is there, and what do we do with that, right? So then there's DNS zones and records here, DNS security, different types of DNS security options are there. Then there's DNS zones and records. You may have created the zone already. We're going to be creating that as well. In today's lab, we're going to go for the basics. Then we're going to go for building our environment on top of the today's lab one by one. So DNS zones and records, we're going to create those primary zone, secondary zone. We're going to talk about those. Why do we create primary and secondary zones? And then we're going to go for resource records, A record, AA, PTR, SOA, start of authority, name server, SRV, service location, CNAME, and so on. There are so many records there. What is the purpose of each record there? There are so many that we might even have to consult the Microsoft documentation for many of the records there. But we're going to try to check in-depth DNS. So this course deals with in-depth DNS first of all, because without that, your Microsoft environment or any other environment, VMware environment also, any other environment is not complete. It's going to fall down. It's not going to work if DNS is down. So second thing is DHCP and IPAM. So you may have configured DHCP already. We're going to be configuring that. We're going to talk about different options of that. Authorize DHCP, create and configure scopes, create and configure super scopes and multicast scopes, configure a DHCP reservation, DHCP options. So there are lots of topics here for DHCP. Again, first is DNS in depth. Then the second topic would be DHCP in depth. And then there is IPAM here. We talk about then, first of all, it is all about handling the DNS, DC, and DHCP of the environment. So IPAM, Microsoft is really pushing to for everyone to understand, because it deals with central management of infrastructure servers. Infrastructure servers are DNS, DHCP. Without those servers, there are many others, but without those, your infrastructure, the whole infrastructure cannot work properly, right? So IPAM offers you a central window, a central management screen to control as many. Suppose you have your big branch, big company there, and you have global branches there, maybe 20 branches there. So every branch has its own two DNS servers and two DHCP servers, or one DHCP server. So you can get them all into one screen and check which one is doing what. You can configure, monitor, manage, troubleshoot from one single screen, that is IPAM. So we're going to try to learn that. The lab is not that long, but we need to really know what it does. Of course, I expect that you will be repeating all the labs at your home lab as well, and you must start planning to build your home lab from now on. Then there is implement network connectivity and remote access solutions. So there is NAT, network address translation. There is VPN, virtual private network, and direct access. So again, NAT implementation in Microsoft, and then configure routing, the routing information in Microsoft. We need to talk about that, touch that. NAT normally is no longer being used with Microsoft machines, but if in any environment you have to do that, how to configure NAT, and then routing as well. Microsoft virtual machine or Microsoft Windows operating system can become a router as well, right? Did you know that? It can become a router, but not the router like in Cisco router. It doesn't have advanced features. It's just that you get two network cards, put 10 range in one network card and 192 range in second network card, and configure routing. So it's just, yeah, and nobody does that. So anyway, wherever you had to do that, it's the exam objective. You have to really know that at least. So then there is VPN, virtual private network, and direct access. So VPN is used for yeah, distance to different locations and connecting from home to office. And you get to use the VPN software and put the certificate there, and then you connect to your VPN server. So you need to have a VPN server, VPN client. We're going to do that in our private lab. We need to just check that how VPN really works inside the VPN server. If you're expecting that, no, we should have a public IP and we should do it the VPN way. We will try that, but it's not possible. So otherwise, you'll be more confused than you will achieve anything. So it's a local lab. It's a we're going to be doing within that lab the VPN connection, but you will be able to understand clearly what is VPN. Direct access is a crazy idea. Some organizations may have adopted that, but the difference between VPN and direct access is that VPN, you need a software, right? And so suppose you have a laptop and you're a manager and you go to, suppose, Germany, and your office is in Toronto. So you can open the VPN software, double click that, put your password there, username, password, and you're connected to your VPN server in Toronto. So direct access is that, okay, again, you're a manager and you have a laptop and you are in Germany for a meeting, and you open your laptop and you're connected. That's it. So as soon as you get internet connection to your laptop, you're connected. And that's the second, nobody does that. So yeah. And that's always the first question. Is it secure? Exactly. So we're going to talk about how secure it is. So the difference only is that VPN, you have a software, right? So double click that and all the security, authentication, authorization gets initiated. So the end user, the manager, is a non-technical guy, suppose. And that guy says, double click, okay. Oh, my password. Tick, 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 tick. Yay, my password. So in the background, some security protocols have to be initiated. They are initiated by when the client is started in VPN, right? How about if you open the laptop and you've configured the operating system in such a way that it detects, oh, I'm connected to the internet. At once, all those security protocols are initiated themselves instead of starting some software, VPN software. So that's what's happening in the background. And yes, it was introduced in 2008, improved in 2012, and more improved in 2016. So it is kind of really getting that attention that it requires. But yes, it is pretty secure, and that's what we're going to discuss, that how secure it is and where is the security inside. It is using IPv6 anyway. So we're going to talk about that. So radius, anyone knows about radius?
Yeah.
Yes, what is this? Yeah, where do we use that and what is this? So it is where you have huge amount of traffic coming, especially ISPs use that, and you need a tool, software that has authentication, authorization, accounting, doing it on behalf of any of your other like Active Directory or any other authentication software. So Radius comes in the middle. It receives all the huge traffic and then let do the whole organization of authentication, authorization, and accounting there, right? So we're going to talk about Radius. When we are configuring VPN, we're going to talk about Radius as well, and check it out. What is this? Then configure NPS template. So network policy server is all about that, how remotely connecting users and internal users are authenticated, and what are the security policies, what are the connection policies, what are the protocols for that. We're going to talk about all that as for wireless clients as well as wired clients. Also, we're going to talk about that. Then we go for implement core and distributed network solutions. There is IPv4 and v6 addressing there. There are some IPv4 v6 conversion protocols like ISATAP, 624, Teredo scenarios. Maybe you've maybe there are a lot of Cisco people here or not. So Cisco. Oh, in fact, I should ask who is not Cisco, who hasn't done CCNA till now. Everyone has done CCNA already. Really? Doing. Hey, that's good. Okay. See, Cisco. Okay, Cisco. Okay, everyone Cisco. Yeah, CCNP and some Cisco certifications there as well.
Even the CCIE is in this class.
Yeah, the person who said some Cisco certifications, right? So, okay, guys. So this means that you will be just comparing the protocols there with what is there already. And so back to Microsoft again. There is distributed file system (DFS) and branch office solutions. So DFS, ever heard of that before? Distributed file system. Yeah, heard of it. So DFS is that you have shared folders in one server. You line up the shared folders in one server, and then those shared folders are replicated, or a copy of that is created.
Should we just put in earplugs?
He's saying close the window.
Close the window. We don't have a window.
Close the door.
Well, so okay, guys. So
Brian, you're too loud.
okay, that's a passion. No, it's not only Brian. It's Sadiq as well, the owner. On Saturday in AWS class, we are listening to classes at the same time. So we have to then close the door. Now the AC is also having problems, so we're like, whoa, seriously? Okay, so here the DFS is, oh well, normally I create diagrams. And the most sophisticated tool of all times, MS Paint, yay! Actually, it's most primitive tool. Okay. Okay, guys. So here, if you have one server here and one server here, first of all, what's the example of DFS? Suppose you have a branch here, Toronto, and you have a branch here, New York, and so on. Other branches, Sao Paulo, and Croatia, and England, and France. Oh, just kidding. I'm not referring to World Cup. Yeah. So here, so suppose you have a lot of servers here, and each you have a file server in every branch here. FS file server here, FS file server, and of course file servers are of course one of the most important ones in the company. They share all the files and folders of a user. So the users, all the users are accessing a file server for one reason or another. How about, so users have to remember those shared folders. There are so many shared folders in every file server. How about that? So if the users have to remember all the shared folders, normally we map those shared folders as well, but sometimes the group policies don't work and the mapping is removed and then you have to map them again. But you have to access or remember the shared folder. Suppose backslash server name and then backslash the shared folder name, right? So that's how the format is. UNC path is What about, so if there are hundreds of those shared folders there across the file servers, across the branches, so how about we put under one company UNC path. Suppose that's the main company UNC path, and we map all the shared folders as a tree-like structure under this path. So all the important company shared folders are there lined up under this one URL or UNC path. So that would be very cool. In Scotiabank, we also implemented that one. So end users have to simply remember this, whatever that path is, and then once they go there, all the shared folders in Toronto, in New York, in Sao Paulo, wherever, all the shared folders come in one line here, right? So that's what DFS is, that basically does. But what DFS replication does is that whatever set of shared folders across many branches here that have been mapped into under one UNC path here, their replica, their copy gets created in another server as well. So we're going to create the whole thing. We're going to install the DFS. We're going to create some test shared folders there, and then we're going to go for replication server. I'm going to check that whatever we create here gets created in another server as well or not. So the main idea behind that is just gather up all the frequently used shared folders and then line them up under one UNC path. So whoever goes to that sees all the shared folders in one line that they are frequently using, and of course the permissions you can already give there. So we get the idea what is DFS, but we're going to do the lab for that. And let's go ahead. What are the topics here? Branch office, again, DFSR. There is still the replication there, and then the branch cache here. Branch cache is another solution for the same thing, that if you have a server here in your main office, then you can synchronize. You can set up an automatic synchronization here. Whatever is saved in Toronto office will be saved in or cached locally in the server in a New York office as well. So that's where branch cache feature comes in. So it's all about synchronizing whatever you save in one shared folder. You can cache it on the other branches server there. So that's branch cache. We're going to try to test both there with the labs as well. And then there is that implement an advanced network infrastructure, and that comes down to a lot of new concepts of Microsoft related to virtualization especially. So you may have implemented Hyper-V already there, and you may have done the live migration as well as replication for Hyper-V between the virtual machines in 70-740. So this is just an extension of all the concepts that you have to learn about the virtualization. There are many concepts there that do work with virtualization as well as cloud. So about the cloud, again and again I'm saying that the market really is going towards the cloud. Microsoft has a big vision of making Azure cloud the one of the most important ones in their product that they're offering to the companies. So if you know the data center virtualization in the with VMware cores or Hyper-V, cloud is also a virtualization solution, right? So cloud is also a virtualized data center from somebody else. Microsoft is offering Microsoft Azure as a cloud. It's their own data centers that are spread across the globe. So AWS also has their own set of thousands or hundreds of data centers, and they're offering virtualized environment to you over the internet. So that's also cloud. So if you learn any virtualization solution course, you will be able to learn cloud very easily. So not a lot of different variety of topics here as 740 had, but these are now for critical topics. They're going in depth, and this course is talking about branch communication and infrastructure, servers that need to be tackled and understood. So infrastructure servers, VPN, branch cache solutions, direct access, and then IP v6 v4, and then it comes down to implement high performance network solutions. So there's NIC teaming there that we need to understand, switch embedded teaming, SET. So this is again gonna go down to virtualization. I'm gonna try to understand these topics in terms of, we're gonna configure the Hyper-V again, and we're gonna do some of those virtualization. Then there is software defined networking. Every vendor is going for that now, that if you have a physical switch, you have a virtual switch, you have a physical router, you have a virtual router. So SDN, how Microsoft talks about software defined networking. We're going to talk about that as well, right? So this is all about those topics. Any questions till now?
You say a lab at home.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Just our laptop, or do we
Yeah.
have to like, create a server environment?
Well, thing is, if virtualization was not introduced, so I would have asked you to buy 4 or 5 desktops, or 3 or 4 laptops, or 2 or 3 servers. But now we have virtualization. That's why one high-end desktop or laptop with VMware Workstation installed inside, which we are about to do exactly here, is what I ask everyone to create at home as well. So if you have one high-end desktop, server, or laptop, just install VMware Workstation and create your big environment. So we're going to go for VMware later. We're going to go for hopefully Citrix or any other courses. So we're going to be creating big environments again and again. So we will require our machine with us every time. So even for cloud courses, it's going to be the same, that you need your own good hardware. Better have a laptop refurbished. 4th generation is also okay. Otherwise 5th, 6th, 7th generations are here now. The more you spend in your career, the better you are when you are going for an interview, right? So that's what I say, that go for one machine, one good high-end machine there. So any other question? And our NetBus shop here has those, and also other, you can Kijiji it as well, do your search, but get that hardware ASAP. That's your career investment. That's one-time thing, but you will really learn faster, right? Otherwise it will slow you down very much. Those who, very few students actually delayed that. Why do I have to spend 700, 800, $1,000? But then they were slow in all the labs, and they said, no, I'm going to learn here. After 3 classes, when I was asking, forgot. No, I'm going to see the video. Okay, thank you for wasting all your time here. So this whole time is wasted if you're not doing those at home. Complete waste of time. One time doing the lab here is not enough. It's never enough, right? So get your hardware ASAP. Okay guys, so this is just introduction, and then we need to create our lab, and that we need to do. So just some idea about what the lab should be before we go for a break. Then we're gonna start that. So we will have template machine here, and then we will have our 2 clones here, and we're going to be configuring, we're going to understand each and everything. For some it has been done, so I do that at the start of every course, right? If we don't have a proper lab to build, and to build upon every other feature, then it's going to be difficult for, or it's going to really stop us throughout the course. So we're going to take our time to build the basic lab. We're going to understand each and every option, why we are doing what we are doing, right? So the main thing is understand, and then how to do the lab twice. You have to do that lab twice. So understand first and then do the lab. Stop me if you don't understand, and then ask questions. Every question is welcome. The more questions, the better, right? So if it's very clear, go ahead, right? So and then repeat that lab at home. Create your screenshots, put it in MS Word document, and email me, right? So this is a time to really work hard. Invest, work hard, certifications, lab, 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 lab. Forget everything else, right? But Sunday, don't forget to watch that World Cup final. I'm just kidding. Okay, so yeah, here, so what we need to do today, day 1 has to be action. We cannot waste any time. So template, we're going to create a template machine here, TemplateVM, and we're going to talk about all the concepts. Why are we doing that? What is this? And what's the logic behind that? Then we're going to create 2 clones out of that, clone 1 and clone 2. And then we're going to be installing on that clone. We're going to be activating that machine because these are all so activate, these are all trial versions. Activate, then give static IP, rename, and then take snapshot. Very, very important. Whenever I say, guys, let's go back to snapshot 1, you must have a snapshot 1 there. What is snapshot 1? We're going to talk about that. So, and then once that is done, then we have to install Active Directory there. Some of the concepts, of course, you're already familiar with, so I'm not going to go a lot in depth, but I still have to cross question you wherever we stop. I'm going to be asking you some questions. If in case you don't know that, I'm going to just repeat that concept, right? So Active Directory DNS, proper configuration, DHCP, and then 390 users with PowerShell, rename admin, domain admin. It's not rename, it's copy domain admin account, copy domain admin account, and then once that all is done, on the second computer we're going to be going for that join the domain, and then the rest of the labs we're going to continue that in other classes as well, like on well, now it's what, Wednesday, Friday, right? So we're gonna have then Friday the second replica DC. We're gonna have a replica DC there, how to install that, what's the logic of that, what is the best practice in the production environment, and then we're gonna go for uninstallation of replica DC. So we're creating our environment from scratch, right? So that's why we need to learn all the concepts that revolve around creating the whole environment. Suppose you got that project of creating that from scratch in a branch for a company, or totally for a company, a new environment. So this is all the steps you have to do to understand really what's going on and how, why would you configure these and why not some other configurations, right? So all the production environment related best practices or scenarios we're going to discuss there. Uninstallation of replica DC. Then we start going for other topics like we have extra domain controllers, right? So what are other types of domains there, right? Other types of domains. What are types of domains? And then what is forest trust? And then we're gonna start building up concept according to our topics there. So whatever we do here, as this is, I say, basic and extended lab, this will really help in what we will be understanding throughout the course. If you don't have the basics or foundations are not very good, you can't build upon that in-depth concepts for DNS, DHCP. We're gonna go in depth with those, right? So if you don't have these basic concepts very clear in our mind, you will have a big gap in every of those in-depth discussions, topic discussions there, right? So we're going to be going through that. We're building our environment and understanding each and everything. I'll be cross-questioning you as well. Discussion will go on, especially according to best practices in a production environment. In that context, we have to discuss everything. So once we are very clear with all those types of domains there, tree domain and child domain and forest trust, then we're going to go for DNS, DHCP, and all of the concepts according to the skills being measured that the Microsoft expects us to have those skills. We're going to follow those. Yep. Any questions till now? Yep. No, like create a copy of an account. So we're going to create a domain administrator is already there. We're going to create a copy of that. We're going to just name it netadmin. So this is our lab that we're going to start. You want to take a break? This is the time. Oh, you don't want to take a break. Okay, let's start the lab, guys. Oh, okay, just kidding. Because everyone was quiet, so okay, nobody wants a break now. Pause. Okay, so here, why we'll be creating template VMs. Okay, so my buddy, yeah, template VM. We're going to be creating the first machine here, and that's the template machine. And there, what we need to do is that for the only purpose of a template VM in VMware Workstation is to create clones, and we will need those clones clone machines or exact copy of the machine that we're about to create. So that's why we're going to create template VM. We're going to shut it down forever, and the only purpose of a template virtual machine will be to create clones. And why would we need that? Because later I would ask you to, hey, let's just create one more machine. So if when we create that machine, so we're going to just clone it from template VM with all the 8 modifications inside, so it will have everything that we need to add it to the network right away and fast. So we're going to create a template VM here that's going to really help us throughout the course have as many clones as we want whenever we want, and they'll be already configured, pre-configured with all those settings that we want. So when we add the virtual machine at the mid of the course or whenever we want, they should be ready pre-configured machines. So what we do in the template VM is that we install Windows 2016 here. That's the first and last time we're going to install that, and then we're going to go for 8 modifications here, and those 8 modifications will be making this course smoother. All the labs will be done smooth, and we will not have any stopping there or any kind of hurdles there. And then we're going to Sysprep this machine. Now the Sysprep, the only purpose of Sysprep is to make every clone unique. And how do we make every clone unique? So first of all, we installed Windows Server 2016. We make whatever modifications we want. This is also referred in the production environment as golden image. So golden image is what? That is used to create clones or images, as many as you want. So this one golden image, it has to be shut down with Sysprep. What does Sysprep do? Anyone ever heard of Sysprep before? Yep. So it creates unique SIDs, or it does not let the similar SIDs be created in any clone. So what is a SID? SID, or security identifier, and that's a long alphanumeric number here, and that's just a random SID I just created, just random types. So here, so the main thing is that if the SID is similar in all the clones, of course they cannot join the domain, and you can't use them in a network. So that's why we're gonna properly create a template machine. We're gonna sysprep it, we're gonna shut it down forever, and the only purpose of that would be to right click, manage, clone, right? So with that same template machine, you can take at home and just create 2 more clones for your home lab, right? Or better, go through the whole process at home separately by following the video, right? That would be better. So we're gonna do that. Let's try to do that. So Windows 2016, we're gonna install that server, and then 8 modifications, and then we go for sysprep, and then we go through the whole process here. Any questions till now? Okay, let's go ahead. Or any questions? Yeah. So yeah, let's so your operating systems, everything is inside the C drive ISO folder. So any software you need is in C drive and ISO folder, right? We know that. Maybe in other lab you are the same thing, C drive ISO. No, it's an SSD. It was there. Okay, so here it is in C drive ISO folder. So let's go for our VMware workstation, and that's exactly what I want you to do at home as well in your home lab. If you have that high-end laptop, desktop, or server there. So even if you have a server there, still go for install an operating system there. NetPlus shop has a lot of servers now, HP, and they are Proliant, and I think they are G7 too. Before we had G6s or G5s, now G7s have arrived. So that's also very cool. But on those servers, I would recommend that go for Windows 2016 or 2012 as the base OS, and then install VMware Workstation there, and then go for that. So on laptops and desktops, go for Windows 7, Windows 10 operating systems there, right? So on the machine that we have, let's open the VMware Workstation first of all. As you can see here, I have started the video. Yep. VMware Workstation here, and then so you can see that already I have created some networks here. I was able to create that because I have a good laptop, high-end laptop here, and that's the benefit. You can create as many networks here, right, and practice again and again and again with different scenarios. Let's go for the home button here. I'm just gonna go for that magnifier. I'll make it a little bigger, and let me know what kind of screen suits you. So right now, I hope everyone's able to open the VMware Workstation and then click the home button, and then we're gonna go for this create a new virtual machine. Everyone did that? Yes, right? You're not there?
Actually, I already have a clone or a reference machine, just a bare 2016.
Okay.
I'm going to start with that and put our 8 applications into it.
That would be perfect. So you have in your account that we create today, is that the account that I created today? Did you log in from that? Or because in the middle of the lab, if your configurations are different than ours, then you will have to do it some other time. So you've logged in from the account that I created in the morning, right?
No, it's on my normal machine.
Oh, you have a laptop. Perfect. That's great. So which one is that? T series or W series? Yes. W? Oh wow, W540. Perfect. You're already there, man. Okay, guys, get that hardware. Perfect. Okay, guys. So we're just gonna create that. Let's click that. Create a new virtual machine. If everyone's there, then we go for typical, and then click next. And since this is simple, so installer, disk, images, file, ISO. Let's just click the browse button here. I hope everyone's there. Anyone falling behind, please let me know. Don't be shy, just let me know. So click browse, and then we go for C drive and ISO here. Well, that's my laptop where I'm doing that. So you would also, on your desktops, you would have C drive ISO, and that C drive ISO, you would have Windows Server 2016, right? So let's install that Windows Server 2016. I hope everyone's seeing 14393 or just Windows 2016 already written there. Yeah. Oh yeah, in that particular computer we have that problem again and again popping up. 2016 is not there. So if you see, click browse. Do you see 14393? Any line starting with 14393? Oh, okay. So I'll just put the password there. I hope everyone's there. It's 14393. So is there in the machine? Alright guys, so if we are done with that, double click that and let's go ahead. So if it shows nothing here, it's okay, it's still 2016. It's showing me Windows Server 2016 detected. Yeah, if it says not detected, it's okay, it's still going to work. So why is it saying there? Because in my laptop I have that version 14, but in version 12 it works the same way, because previous lab we had done the whole course from 2012 and it's the same thing. So next here guys, well, I don't think you are seeing this screen here. You are? Okay, so you'll be seeing the screen for Windows 20. Okay, so Microsoft Windows is selected. Just go for 2016. Drop down window and go for 2016. Everyone there? Anyone have any comments? So 2016, you have to just select that. Okay. Okay. So, oh, stay there. Yeah, so click backline. Yeah, perfect. Okay, guys. So the rule of the whole course, all the labs is that if I don't click, you don't click. If I click and if I don't click and you do click, so I do a lot of customizations. So, you might, he's gonna do this. Click, 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 click. I'm already there. And then, whoa, where do you go? What options? So then you miss the whole lab with me, and you have to then follow the lab with the video, right? Then sit back, enjoy the show. Whenever you hear that from me, sit back, enjoy the show, this means you know, sit back, enjoy the show. That means just that. So if I haven't clicked, don't click that. That's my recommendation. But some students, very few students who learned the hard way that yeah, they should go with that. Okay, guys. So I'm just gonna press yes here for this. Ignore that. But you should be on this screen. So click next on your screens, and you should be on this screen. So be careful on this screen, guys. Be careful on this screen. Okay, guys. First of all, these are public machines, right? So we need to properly name it. So dash template. Well, if it's laptop, you don't have to follow that. But it's a naming convention that we need to put there. So whenever they're doing maintenance and they are about to delete the machines, they would know that, oh, okay, that's a template machine from who. So I'm just going to put my first name here. Dash first name. So here, TemplateVM dash your first name dash course is 70-741. Right? So it's just the naming convention that we're going to be following for our template VM. Because these are public machines, if you're doing it there, you have to just be careful. Just put your first name and course name. Yep. And okay, date. If you want to put the date, it's 11 July. Well, if you want to put the date. Okay, guys, if this is done, so right now we're sticking to the C drive, and we're going to be creating full clones there. But later we can go for SSD as well. Right now SSD is really filling up fast. So by the mid of the course, we might even not see a lot of space there. Some advanced courses are already going on there. So our labs here will not be requiring a lot of speed there. We're not going to installing big applications, so we can stick to C drive here, but your path has to be exactly the same as you saw when you come to this page, because that's the security of your virtual machines. Do not change this path here. That's the security of your virtual machines. If anyone logs in from another account, they cannot come into your username folder structure. So if this name has been given here properly by everyone in the desktops, then click next. And here, so I'm just gonna give here 200 GB. So the question to you is, if I give here 200 or 500 GB, that's a virtual machine that we're about to create. But if the physical disk of this desktop has 50 GB free space left, suppose 50 GB free space is left on this physical desktop, and I'm giving here 200 GB disk space for the virtual disk, is that a good idea or a bad idea? So again, 50 GB free space left on the actual disk, physical disk, while you're giving here 200 GB. So shall we give it 200 GB on this particular page or not? So it's dynamically expanding, exactly. Yeah, that's it. Okay. I thought you didn't know that. Okay, so that's good that you already knew that. So and then single file and multiple files. So you can just tell me that as well, or so we could go. Why would we choose single file over the multiple files? Because single file would be that if the folder, this virtual machine folder, has a disk, and that disk is expanding. So if it's a single file, that single file disk will expand to maybe 50 GB, 80 GB, 100 GB. And if it's multiple files, it's going to divide that expansion into 4 GB files. It's 4 GB, it's expanding, 4 GB is done, it will create another file, 4 GB, then create another file, 4 GB, 4 GB chunks. So why is that? No, it will just create separate files. It will divide into smaller files. Suppose it's a full size is 80 GB, it's going to divide into smaller files. Why would we want to do that? For portability. Suppose over the network you're transferring that 80 GB or 120 GB disk. So you get transferred chunks of disks now, chunks of files. Maybe 2 files you select and transfer, then 2 files you select and transfer, and then 2 files. So if it's a one big 120 GB virtual disk file size, you may drop the packet, maybe there's peak hours at that time on the network, so it might not be successful if you are transferring a very large file over the network. so it divides into different chunks of file. So well, other than that, it becomes a little messy. So when you want to transfer, we're not going to be transferring over the network. So I'm going to go for single file. The main thing here is that if you understand what is that, choose it yourself. For this particular page, you can choose it yourself, right? But other pages, whatever I'm choosing, just go for that. So but if you understand what is it, it's your choice after that, at your home lab as well or here, right? So the main thing is understanding. So and then store virtual disk as a single file. I'm just going for that because the folder gets messier when you have a huge amount of 4 GB files there. So normally sometimes during the course we have to go inside the folder, then we're looking for files after files after files. So okay guys, let's click next if the configuration is exactly the same as here on the board. So now we're gonna go for customized hardware, or we're gonna do some shopping here, right? So if we click the customized hardware, there's that memory here that we need to confirm. So normally what happens is, well, our desktops are 32 GB RAM, right? So as a virtualization admin as well, because virtualization course for full-time students, you'll be doing the virtualization course as well, right? So we should know that what is the physical desktop capacity and what we are giving to all the machines. Normally in this course, we're not going to have a very big lab. So it's going to be 2 machines or 3 machines, maybe at some time 4 machines. So we can just go up to here 4 GB. So when today we're going to just create 2 clones here, and if they are 4 GB still, we have enough space, enough RAM there for 32 GB. Later we may add a third clone there as well, or we're going to be adding Windows 10 there as well for client side configurations. So I'm just putting it 4 GB here. Let's put the processor here, and we can go for 2 cores here as well. Just give it a little more power for the processors. Now this is a template machine, right? So in the lab, in this course, we will be going for Hyper-V related lab as well. So why don't we just configure the template for that, make the template ready for that. Let's click this, virtualize Intel VT, EPT or AMD VRVI option. So this is going to let us install Hyper-V inside Windows Server 2016, right? So 4 GB RAM here, 2 processors here, and well, 1 processor, 2 cores here, and virtualize Intel VT options. I hope everyone has done that. So if everyone has done that and nobody's falling behind, so DVD is okay, it's already 2016. Now for the network adapter, anyone can tell me what is bridge? It's not good. Anything, any other trial of that? It's yes, for our lab, it's not good. What does it do exactly? Exactly. When you click the bridge option, your virtual machine becomes part of the physical network here, right? So this means that virtual machine will get an IP from Net Plus DSL router, right? So that's okay in a scenario, but our scenario is not good. Why? Because we're going to be installing a DHCP of our own in our first clone. If our clone is on bridge and we all have our DHCP installed there, so all the other machines here will be asking IP addresses from our DHCP as well as from Net Plus DHCP. So our DHCP will be up there distributing IP addresses to all the machines in this college. We don't want that, right? If you do not intend to install DHCP, it's okay, go for bridge and get that IP. You will be just like, so any machine in the next lab will be able to ping your virtual machine here as well. It will be on your physical network, right? Especially in the companies, don't do that because you're testing something, right?
So
Yeah.
what about the home? When we are doing it
Yeah.
at home,
It should be okay, but the thing is again that there will be 2 DHCPs there. One DHCP is your home DSL and one our own DHCP. So anywhere it's not okay. So if you understand that, yes, we can introduce it. Then stop the DSL router DHCP. Yeah, this is okay. Then, but then you will not get internet connection, right? So there are always those. So there's no benefit of doing that, right? But if you want to connect another machine, I have suppose 4 servers at home, 2 desktops at home that are doing nothing. I want to add them. Suppose I put 4 virtual machines in each desktop, 4 there, 4 there. Now I have a big network. A lot of servers I can add. So those networks have to be connected to my machine, virtual machines inside the third desktop or a laptop here. So then it will be a tricky IP addressing that we have to do. But you have to get your machines on bridge to communicate to those other desktops at home. So then you can do bridge. But again, you have to check that how DHCP has to be handled. Don't start DHCP, local DHCP at all. Just give it static IP. It's not that big network, right? If you are testing DHCP, then we have to think about, creating VLANs or something else, right? So, okay, guys, here, so we understand that bridging is not a good idea for our environment, but what is the purpose of that? That's the main thing that we need to understand. Second thing is that NAT, network address translation, it's gonna just give IP internet connection to your machine there with your physical network, and especially the Net Plus DSL router there, or at home DSL router there. Host only is that virtual machines will talk to each other and to the host only. What is the host here?
Yours will be your PC.
It will be our desktop. It will be the Windows 10 installed on our desktop. That's the host for our virtual machine here, right? So if you want to copy back and forth some software between virtual machines and the host, then this option is good for us. And then finally we go to the custom. That's where we really want to work on, and we see a lot of VMnet 2, 3, 4 up to 19 here. So these are all VLANs. Oh, what is VLAN? What is VLAN? What is the one-liner purpose for VLAN?
Segregated a small group.
Yeah. So VLAN 2 virtual machines or physical machines cannot communicate with VLAN 3 physical machines or virtual machines, right? So they segregate, they cannot talk to each other. So that's exactly the same thing. VMnet 2, suppose VMnet 2 we put 5 machines, virtual machines there, and VMnet 3 we put 2 machines. The 5 machines of VMnet 2 cannot communicate with 3 machines of VMnet 3. So this also means that our virtual machines in our network must have the same VMnet, right? So they can talk to each other, right? So there are so many VMnets here because maybe I have another course here, Exchange or another course here for, so if I start all those machines at the same time, they should not talk to each other. Suppose every course's first machine has a DHCP of its own. So VMnet 2 DHCP cannot communicate with VMnet 3 machines. So you have VLANs here already built into it. So VMware Workstation software is for testing environment, right? So everyone uses that for testing environment only. So that's why it's just terminology is different. In VMware ESXi, it's professional environment. The rules are different there. So I'm just gonna go for VMnet 15 here. Well, actually in another course I have VMnet 15 here. You can just select any one of those other than the NAT and host only. So let's go for VMnet 14 here, and you can select 19. The main thing is, did you understand what it does? If you understand that, you can select anyone, right? So we understand that, right? So I'm just going for VMnet 14, but there is no particular reason for that. You just know what it does. Then you can select 19 or 17. So when I'm going for VMnet 14 here, it doesn't show that I changed, but if I click anywhere else and then come back here, now it shows that it changed it, right? So the template machine configuration is 4 GB RAM, 1 core, 1 processor, 2 cores. Network adapter is VMnet 14 here with custom configuration. Then there's LAN segment. LAN segment is that you want to start machines together, you want to restart machines together, you want to shut down machines together. If you're handling all the machines together, but remember when you're starting 3 or 4 machines at the same time, it will impact your RAM and processor, right? So if you want to do that, go ahead, but I would not do that actually. So custom VMnet 14 and a USB, yes, we need that. Well, we may need that. Sound card, maybe. Printer, if there's a printer lab there. Display, yes, we need to see the machine. So right now 4 GB RAM is the only change. 1 processor, 2 cores, and network adapter custom VMnet 14 are the only changes we have done in the template VM. If we understand all this, or if there are any questions, let me know. Tick tock tick. Oh, that's time. Yeah, time background. Okay, so let's go ahead. So if there are no questions, click close here and finish, right? So once we click finish, it's gonna start. And remember, when it comes to that language option, we have to use Canada English. It's gonna it's gonna configure that time zone for us. And we are going for data center. If anyone's going forward, we're going for data center. graphical interface, that's the fourth option. If you're there, better wait for me. If you're selecting anything, then please do see that nearly in every page I'm doing customizations. So, stay with me. And there you go. I got that error again. Yay. Okay, anyone's going ahead? Power on? Okay, everyone's powering on? Okay, cool. No, this is happening just on my laptop. So I'll just simply get that. Should have started it on your... Okay, so it started, and when it starts, wherever it reaches the language option, you have to choose Canada, English.
My drop down doesn't give that. This is English United States.
No, but you're installing? Yes.
The second option.
Second option.
Second option.
Language and format. Time.
Second one.
Time zone.
Time zone. Data center, fourth one. Fourth.
Evolution.
Yeah. Evaluation. It's evaluation and fourth one. If you're already there, so so guys, I got lucky. I got an error here, and that may be the error coming to you in your laptop if you try that at home. So what I will do is I will quickly simply remove that. There's a workaround for that as well. Maybe I should record that too, if in case you get that error where it was saying, oh, your license is not allowed, or that license file is missing there. So I'm just going to power it off just to because it is recording. So you will see that if you see that error at home lab, then you should also do this step. I'm just gonna simply delete from this, so do not follow me on this. I only got that error, you're not getting that error. So your configurations here is a little different than mine, but I'm just gonna resolve this error right now. I'm just gonna create a new virtual machine here because I got that error. So I'm just gonna do that. Nobody has to follow me for this. So I'm just going to put it, I will install the operating system later, and then I'll just go next, 2016, next, and okay, that template. Hey, why am I perspiring? Is it that hot here? Template. And 70-741. So I'll just quickly go there, try to fly here, next. And we gave 200 GB and single file. If you put multiple files, it doesn't really matter. But the main thing is, did we understand what is it? So customize, I'm just gonna quickly go for 4 GB here, and then 2 cores here, and virtualize Intel VT here, and custom 14, and close, yay, and finito. So what I did was I didn't give that ISO path here just for the particular error that I got. The rest of you could just go ahead. So remember that you must have selected the data center option, the fourth one, the fourth option in the 4 options there. And if that's done, so otherwise I'm just trying to quickly troubleshoot that. Okay.
That prompt is going to come with the software if you download it directly from image. Prompts you for the serial number right away.
Oh, all right. It's in 14 that I am getting that. The same ISO in VMware 12 didn't get me this option with the same ISO.
See the change it in 2016. This is with the software downloaded directly from image. If you download it from the evaluation, is different.
And
Loaded on your CD?
yeah, no, I'm just showing you that it will be resolved now. So, but it is loaded on my CD. Yeah, it's not my CD. It's my hard disk there. Yeah. So it's the okay, guys. So I'm just gonna give the path here now for that. I was just trying to show this that it is going to be resolved. So what I'm doing is I didn't give that ISO path at the start of the wizard. I just created a new machine, but now I'm giving that path. This is just a simple workaround that gets me around that error. So now I'm just gonna power on, and then outside I'm showing with good confidence. Inside I'm doing please work, please. So that's inside. Outside, see, it's gonna work. No, the error came after that last time, right? Okay, you better work, please. I'm staring at you. Okay. So while you're done with the installation, I guess? No?
Moving along slowly.
Oh.
You
Yeah.
should have probably gone for 16 efficient.
Yeah, why didn't we go for 4 GB? Whose idea was that? So, English, Canada. Oh, come on. Seriously? Should just... There you go. And first that is there. Next. So, in the video, if you see an error and then I'm doing something else, just understand that this was just a particular error coming to my laptop. So by tonight or tomorrow night, maybe evening, I'll get that whole video there, and through that Google group I'll be asking, sending you email. So fourth option I'm selecting here, data center evaluation, desktop experience, and then clicking next. The rest is just next, finish. Accept, next. We're not upgrading, so custom, and we're not putting partitions here, so just one big 200 GB partition. Next. Okay, so while this is going on, I'm just and I'm checking if I'm recording. Sometimes I forget, so it doesn't record, and I'm like blah 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 blah, blah for 2 hours, and then we discovered, oh, nothing was recorded. So anyway, we just have to double check or triple check. So here, what we were talking about is that we're going to be, once that installation is done. So normally I ask for putting a same password, which I call class password here. So once you reach that password area, and that's where you will reach first. So that small ABC, capital ABC, and keep pressing shift 1 2 3. That is the class password that I refer to. Please give only one type of password wherever you're giving that password for our lab environment, or if you're giving any other password, don't forget it. So normally I just say, hey, go ahead guys, put a class password. So there's a class password here, and small ABC, capital ABC, keep pressing shift 1 2 3 gives you exclamation at and pound sign, and you're gonna do the lab later. You're gonna do the lab later. Oh, man, you're fast. Okay, that's cool. Sorry, I thought. Okay, so that's Windows Server 2016 Inside Out. It's on Microsoft Press Store, the book. That's the only book that is on Microsoft Press Store. Windows Server 2016 Inside Out. That's pretty extensive, but that's what we were referring to as 600 pages. It's pretty big. So, you sure you're gonna read the whole thing? That's good. That's perfect. So guys, this is a class password first of all. Second thing is, once we reach that Windows 20, once we log into the local administrator password after a username, and when you give this class password here, then we're going to do the 8 modifications there. So what are those 8 modifications, why they're important there, and after we are done with that, then we're going to go for Sysprep, and we have to be very, very careful here for Sysprep as well. So, but remember one thing, it makes every clone unique by giving unique SIDs to every clone. This template VM that we're installing must never be started. If by mistake you start it, what will you do?
Sysprep it again.
Sysprep it again. How many Syspreps we can do? How many times we can forget that? How many times we can do that mistake? 3. Fourth time, what will happen? It will destroy the whole, it will just create a totally new Windows. So you cannot make more than 3 mistakes here. Third time, Sysprep will detect, okay, fourth time, okay, it will destroy the whole thing. It will just give you a totally new Windows, right? So we have a workaround for that too. That mistake will never ever happen. If you click start, it's not gonna start. How? Just give the RAM down to 4 megabyte, 4 MB. that 4 MB is not enough to start any Windows. So we're going to change the RAM size to 4 megabyte for our template machine. So it will never, you don't then have to worry about how many mistakes I've done already, or because it does start when we're starting all the machines, it does start, right? So that's one thing that, okay, Sysprep it again. So don't shut it down without Sysprep after that, and you can't do it more than 3 times. Otherwise, 4th time you will lose everything. So, and 8 modifications. When I talk about that, so I'm just going to go to that forum I maintain, where I have put that because I have to do it in every course. So I've put it on that forum as well, itprofcourses.boards.net. So that's where I keep on updating whatever I discover or find according for any topics. Majority of these have a lot of YouTube links that explain a concept in a very simple way. So whatever courses I'm teaching in different colleges, and here I put a lot of information about that. This is not the course material, this is my reference. This is for my reference, all the things that I would come back to for SCCM, Citrix, VMware, cloud administration, whatever new topics are there, there's a video that explains it in a very simple wordings or good animation, then I put it here for a reference. So but I am going here way down to how to prepare your lab, and inside that, so I'll make it a little bigger. So itprofcourses.boards.net, and steps to create first template machine, software to download. So everything is there regarding our first one. That's the only step-by-step lab I have here. And so here I'm just, and this is still 2012 link here. I still have to update that, but that's just for my reference. You already have that software, or I'll be sending you that software. I have uploaded it on my Google Drive, so I'm going to send that in Google Group. If I have your Gmail's already there, I'm going to be sending that. So this we have gone through the data center GUI. We have given that class password here. That's written here as well. But what are the 8 steps or 8 modifications that we're going to be doing? What changes we will make to our private lab are these. So these are the steps that we need to do. VMware tools is always the first thing in a virtual environment, whether it's ESXi, professional VMware environment, or just a test environment here. You have to install the VMware tools already. Then the second thing is firewall. Now firewall we're going to turn off, but in production environment, it's according to the company policy. Some companies say turn off the firewall for servers only, not the perimeter firewalls. The server-based firewalls, server operating system-based firewalls. And some companies say no, we have to keep it on and put the exceptions, port exceptions there for the firewall, right? So in Scotiabank, there were 2,500 servers there, physical and virtual. The firewalls were off as a company policy there, but we had other security measures per operating system there that were really good. So we had that easy communication there, right, between that. So we're gonna go for firewall, turn off both firewall profiles there for our template machine, so all our clones will have the firewalls off. Then there is time zone that we already fixed here, which is that if you go for English Canada, which we already went for, then we the time zone and the time is already fixed. Shared folder is a very interesting feature here. That shared folder feature is, the purpose of that is exactly, okay, so shared folder feature here is that copy back and forth any software between virtual machine and a physical machine. So that's a window, it's a secret portal that you open between virtual machine and a physical machine. Yeah, it's a tunnel. It's just a shared folder. Yeah. So so we're going to configure that in VMware Workstation. Very important, very beneficial when you're copying something and sometimes you just cannot drag it from physical desktop to your virtual machine. Then this shared folder is your last hope. So it will only be enabled if VMware tools are installed. And then there is Internet Security Explorer, Internet Explorer Security, that is enhanced security. Now we're going to turn it off for just our lab, but in best practices in the production environment, it is always on. It just asks you again and again, are you sure this site you want to go for? Well, and we go to that site 100 times per day, every day. So are you really sure? It's like, oh yes, I'm sure. But anyway, company policies dictate that you must have it on. So I'm like, yes, okay, let's keep assuring. Anyway, then there is that setting here, unlocking the screen. So suppose you're configuring another server for quite some time. So after 10 minutes, it's gonna lock your screen. So that's pretty annoying. When you come back, you have to just keep on putting password. In production environment, we must have that auto lock in production environment. But here, we will just remove that auto lock. Don't let me keep on putting the passwords again and again when the machine is idle for 10 minutes, right? So then we're gonna go for Sysprep, and there we're gonna click the run. And so is the installation done for everyone? Windows 2016? Ouch.
Just finish it.
Oh.
Just got to the password stage.
All right, but not for everyone.
Mine is still the file is getting ready, sir.
File is getting ready. Ouch. So that's there are different types of HDD drives here as well. This is the worst type, I think. You're the lucky one who got it. So, but you could replace it anytime. Replace it. Okay. So, okay, guys. So, if you got to the password screen, you know the class password there: small ABC, capital ABC, shift 1 to 3, and all the 8 modifications that we need to do will really make our course a bit more smoother. So we don't have to worry about a lot of other things here. Now I'm just gonna go back to my screen and check it out. Yes, it is there. So how many are still not there? You're not there. You're not there. You're there. You're there. You're there. You're there now. Oh, perfect. So only Nazik is the lucky one. So, so small ABC, capital ABC, shift 1 to 3. Small ABC, capital ABC, shift 1 to 3, and so that's the password we have. And click finish. And then log in by going to these 3 buttons here to send Control Alt Delete. If you are on the same screen, you can go for keyboard options off, Control Alt Insert. If you have clicked that screen, you can go for Control Alt Insert. Otherwise, go for these 3 buttons here. So once we're inside, let me know if anyone is falling behind or having some issues on the machine, so we could. So everyone's good, right? So, alright guys, let's go ahead and try to configure all the options here. Now, the first option here is the most important one, which is install the VMware tools that enable some advanced features and user experience is better when you install VMware tools in any virtual machine. So, whenever we're creating a new machine, we don't have to install VMware tools every time. Once the template has that, every clone will have that pre-installed there. So, how do we install the VMware tools? We right click on the top here, and I hope if we do know that option already, we can just go ahead and do that. Otherwise, are we all on this screen? First of all, how many are on this screen? Everyone's on this screen. You're on there. You're there. You're there. You're not there. Downloading the file. Installing. Is there a percentage there? 95%. All right. You're there. You guys are there. Oh, you're not there. Oh. Okay. Yeah. So we'll try. We'll kind of wait here. But the main thing here is install VMware tools. And if you want to bring your laptops here as well, it's okay. Doesn't really hurt. If they are, well, even if they are 16 GB, that's okay. But that's going to be really slow then. And we have to have maintain some class speed here as well, right? But better go for good hardware. You can buy a laptop with 16 GB now, and later you can upgrade to DDR3 RAM with 32 GB as well. So, but do get that main board that supports 32 GB or 64 GB, right? So, you're there, oops, and you guys are there. Go ahead, if you know how to install, go ahead and install your tools and next activation. So your defined status, I guess, panel, and VMware tools installed. Go ahead and install VMware tools if you know how to do that. You're already installed VMware tools? Yeah. Cool. So go ahead, guys. Now I'm just gonna, but those who are falling behind, when they are there, do we know how to install VMware tools? Yes, right. Uh, so yeah, so I'm just gonna click on it and I'm gonna show you, and you have to remember, or take a picture, cell phone, or whenever you're there. Yeah, and it's a video as well. So I'm just gonna click the install VMware tools here, and then a pop-up will come here anywhere. This is the pop-up, and there's the pop-up, and I'm gonna miss it, because if suppose you miss it, then where you go? I want to show that.
Is it like the drivers for this?
Yeah, so it's extra tools to enable some shared features or network features, and also advanced features specific to this virtual machine. So I missed it, right? So this means then I can go to the Windows Explorer or the yellow folder here. Exactly, it will mount those tools in the DVD. Double click that, and next finish, restart. So hey fan, I'm here. Yes, you. I'm talking to you.
You double click on to run.
Double click on. Yeah. No, services for it. And next finish, restart. Alright guys, so it's just loaded there, and then it's next. Typical is okay. Next. That's it. Install. It's gonna ask for restart, so we will restart. So after that, we should do anything else. We should make sure, first of all, VMware tools are installed, and we may have done it hundreds of times before as well. So after that, let's go for the next one. Turn off the firewall. Template machine we don't rename, because we still have to rename the clones as well. So it is installed. First of all, VMware tools, I'm gonna click finish here and press yes and restart. So everyone has a college email, right? College email, everyone. You don't have it, so you can ask. Yeah, you can ask. You don't have it? Okay. So please do ask. You're a full-time student as well? Okay. So yeah, Brian, the guy who's passionately teaching Linux. Yeah. So it's so well, it's restarting from VMware tools. Then we can go for. I'm just gonna put that list back here, so we could know that where we are. So VMware tools is installed. Then we can go for firewall, time zone, which we can double check it's already good, and shared folder feature I'm going to show you. Internet Explorer security in local server, and then unlocking the screen is in the power options. So as soon as the server starts, we're going to go for all these options there. If you are ahead of me and you know exactly where they are, then you can just take a picture of that and follow up, or you could be on that page as well. Depends. Alright, so well, I'm just gonna check back if my machine is up. Yes, it's up, and I'll just give it send control alt delete, and there you go. Let's log in. So anyone falling behind or trying to know something, some of the question, please do let me know. And any step you're forgetting, you're exactly there, you can just ask me right away and I'll tell you what to do there. So next thing is just turn off the firewall where they are. We can go for local server, firewall, local server, and Windows firewall public on, this one. So let me know if anyone's falling behind. You can just ask me, don't be shy. So we need this configuration. Every step must be exactly like this. Do not miss any step. So I'm just gonna click that turn Windows firewall on or off. But if you want me to repeat that, I will repeat that step. Don't worry. Just ask. Right? So I've turned off the firewall, the two profiles there for the firewall as well. and it is there. Let's just refresh and that setting will be there. So in the template machine, we don't have to rename the machine or give the static IP, because in both clones we still have to change them anyway. So the only thing on this server manager and in the local server is that we can just turn off the firewall here, and we can scroll to the right side. So let me know if any of the configurations are missing, right? So anyone following me? Yeah.
Probably change to 16 GB.
Yeah. So guys, if it is too slow, we can shut down the machine, just change it to 16 GB, and then turn it on and do the rest of the stuff. So our progress would be.
Do we turn off Windows Defender too?
Windows Defender? No, it's not stopping anything, so it's okay. Keep it on. We can keep it on. It's okay. If you want it off, then it's okay.
I installed the Windows.
Oh, cool.
Perfect. Do we have to turn off the VM if we increase the RAM?
Well, for 2012, we didn't have to turn it off. For 2016, so guys, normally when we increase the RAM for any Windows machine, we don't have to, for increase, we don't have to turn off the machine. So I have just turned off the firewall, but if I want to increase the RAM from 8 to 16 to do all these things, so I'm just gonna right click here, you know where the RAM is. I'm just going for RAM just to check that if I am able to do that without getting any error. So 2016 was getting an error when you were increasing the RAM while it was started.
I was able to do it.
Okay, so click settings. Thanks for that. So we will just do that too. So guys, do we know where to increase the RAM? So first of all, you have turned off the firewall, right? So after firewall, I was going to go to the next thing, but instead, first of all, let's just increase the RAM, right? So how do we increase the RAM? Right click, settings, and so we all know. Okay, so RAM memory here, and we can just directly go to 16 here. When we shut down the machine, we have to then be careful. It gives you error for increase the RAM. Okay, let me check that too. So I'm just gonna press OK after clicking the 16 here. Okay, so bring your own AC and bring your own fan. It's 32 GB for everyone, every machine. So this is the way we can just have that, if you're perspiring very bad. So, okay. So bring your own fan and bring your own air conditioner. This is enabled now. It's allowed here. I'm just kidding. Don't hold me back.
They have adjusted the temperature because it was set too high.
Oh, okay. I should have had some change by now.
They have those now, right? Little
Oh yeah.
air conditioners that you plug in USB. It's about this big little square thing that's on your desk and push it up.
Air conditioners, you're saying, or the fan?
Air conditioners. I don't know how it works. Little
Nah,
tiny thing.
it doesn't work good.
Yeah,
I checked it on the Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the review was so bad.
Review was bad. Wow, that small air conditioner thingy. Wow, man.
Yeah, it's up with a little thing like that.
You know,
suck
people
the
expect-
humidity out of it.
Oh yeah.
You know, people know how to get rich off of suckers, you know.
Oh, your PC running no problem. Restart.
Oh. So guys, it didn't give me a problem while increasing the RAM. Did you get an error? Anyone get an error?
Yeah, I just restarted the computer.
Okay. So, but if we randomly got the error, some students got an error for 2016 increasing the RAM. Did you increase the RAM? It works. It works, right? Oh, there's an error. Okay, then shut down and then increase the RAM. Or restart, yeah. Go ahead and restart. So, if there's an error with the RAM increase, this is in 2016 only. Even with Workstation 14, Obviously, it didn't give you. So if you get an error when you increase the RAM, just restart after increasing that or getting the error, or just shut down and increase the RAM. So no error, right? Okay, so increase the RAM and restart. Anyway, so okay guys, after that, these are just basic settings here. So the next setting is, so is it restarted already? Should I let me know when it's restarted?
So after restarting about the firewall, it is turning off the firewall, and is there any other settings, sir?
So you increase the RAM, right?
Yeah.
Then there are these. So then it is time zone. Just double check if your time is correct and zone is correct, EST. And then shared folder feature, I'm going to show how to do that. Internet Explorer security and unlocking the screen is in power options. So we're going to just do all this. So when you're there, I'll just show you one by one. Wow, I think it's my shirt. I'm really perspiring. So, and I forgot the ball. So this.
Yeah, I got that. So you have to just go to
Okay guys, so I'm just gonna go there now for the next one, which is time zone. I'm gonna double check that, and then I'm gonna show you how to configure the shared folder. So first of all, I'm just checking the time zone, which is Eastern US time, and it's 1:13, so it's correct time. Okay, we're good with the time zone. It's already done there. So next thing is shared folder. So this I want everyone to be on the same page, so I can show you that, and you can follow me with the shared folder. So everyone on the same page. You're not doing anything, or it's there. I can wait.
Yeah. How long you do it?
You scared me, man.
Just restart the machine.
Okay.
No, because it's not stuck.
Yeah, just restart the machine over there. On top.
Where the gas, man? No, gas means we can serve.
So, alright guys, here, well,
Hey, I did the
in fact, if it is restarting, if it is in any state, you can still configure shared folder. Suppose in the background machine is still starting, you can still go for these steps. So, alright guys, how to configure shared folder? If everyone is on the same page, or you can just let me know where you are and I can help you and get to that. Right? So, right click here for the shared folder and go to settings. Anyone can do that who is even restarting. You can just follow these steps. So right click and settings and options, and then shared folders. I hope everyone's there.
Yeah.
Options, shared folders, and always enabled, and map as a network drive. Master G remembers everything. We did it so many times. My hair got white doing that. So always enabled, map as a network drive. Make sure these two buttons are checked, and then click the add button here. And let's go for what we're doing here is, let's click next, and when we click browse, it's gonna show us the physical desktop folder structure and whatever folder you want to map there to this virtual machine. It's gonna map that. So I'm just gonna click browse here, and now what it's showing is the physical desktop, the host operating systems folder structure. It is showing there which folder from the host you want to map. I'm just gonna go way down, and C drive ISO, well, that's where all the software is. You can just map the drive letter C only or D only, or you can go to a specific folder or the subfolder. to map any of those. So I'm gonna go to the C drive here, and there's the ISO folder. Because all the software is there, from there I can just copy back and forth anything from physical desktop to virtual, or virtual machine to physical desktop. So ISO I've selected and press OK. So it should look like this now. Yep. Where are you? You can see this. All is enabled, map as a network. And then browse to C drive :/ISO, or you can even directly type here and it's gonna grab that path, right? So if we all understand that and we get that, you want me to repeat that, I'll repeat that.
Should we not create a folder for this?
Separate, you can do that too if you want. Any existing folder or a new folder, both are okay. We're just giving paths to some folder.
But the ISO folder is what contains the software we will use.
Yeah.
So that's why we're mapping to that.
Yeah.
Because if you create a new folder, then you won't be able to.
Then we have to put that software there, whichever we are copying. Yeah. So ISO already has those software, that's where we're going there. Otherwise, yes, if you understand what it does, we can just map it to anything. Any folder, shared folder, anything, any drive. So C:/ ISO and click next. And enable this share is okay. Read only just means that you don't want to change any of the, modify any of the structure in the physical desktop, but maybe we want to copy from here to there, and we want to modify while accessing from virtual machine to the physical desktop. We want to modify something as well. So let's not click that, read only there. So enable this share, and we're going to check after that where is it and does it really work, right? So if this is the default configuration, let's click finish. And this is how it should look like. Always enabled, map as a network, and C:/ ISO and the check mark. If that is exactly looking like this, then press OK. So Master G did not. Shared folder is configured already? Man, you're like 20 years out of us. That's good, man. Okay, so here, once this is done, where is it? So if you're back to the screen here, I'm going to go down to the Windows Explorer or the yellow folder here, and just want to check if that shared folder got created or not, and click this PC here, and then go to the Z drive. I hope everyone's seeing the Z drive, right? Yes. Okay, thank you for the reply. And double click Z drive, and there's your ISO. So if it's accessible, that's good, because template machine has that, so all clones will have that. In clones, normally it's not going to be there right away. You just have to go to this area again. In any clone, you have to go back there and simply enable the option back here. So when you go to any clone, it will be just like this. So the rest of the configuration will be still the same. You just have to enable it in the clone like this, that's all. So otherwise everything will be configured. So I'm just going to cancel out from here, just showing that what the clone will have. Let's go for the next option here. What are the next options? So firewalls off, time zone check, shared folder configured. If any questions till now, let me know. If not, then let's go ahead. Then there is Internet Explorer security, turn off, and unlocking the screen. These two options are remaining there. Let's go for the Internet Explorer security there. So I'm just going to go back to the machine here. I am still on the server manager and in the local server here. And in the local server, it's this, that by default it is here, but I scrolled to the right side. So let's scroll to the right side, and then you can see here time zone, which is good, but above that is IE enhanced security configuration. So let's turn it off. On in production environment, I would keep it on, but here I'm just turning it off. Press OK here and refresh. Okay, so real-time protection is okay, Defender is okay, it's let it defend. Okay, so anyway, other than that, we're gonna go for the last one, which is the idle time limit of 10 minutes. So in order to change that, if we are inside our Windows 2016, let's right click here on this Windows icon here to change the idle time limit from 10 minutes. So I'm just gonna right click here and go way up to power options. So let's go inside the power options, and I hope everyone's there. Yes, no, maybe. All right. So I hope I'm not going fast. So let me know if I'm going fast so I could go faster. No, I'm just gonna slow down. I'm okay, right? So power options, don't be shy guys, let me know. So power options, when you're there, you can see the balanced change plan settings and high performance change plan settings. If you have a laptop and you're working on the battery, then out of the batteries, then you go for that. Otherwise we are plugged in, so high performance is good. So I'm just going to select the high performance here and go for change plan settings. Click the change plan settings and slightly change 15 minutes to never. Just slightly. Okay. Oh, okay. So never and save changes. So this I would never do in a production environment, right? This is going to be against the security or compliance configurations. So they're gonna detect that anyway automatically. So save changes here. This is just for our lab environment, but in a production environment, in companies, you don't do that. You have to have that idle time limit. When you're leaving your workstation, just lock it. Otherwise it's already, somebody can just go through your account and shut down all the servers and you're out. Okay guys, so once this is done, I think everything is done here. The final thing remaining still before we go for Sysprep is, so our VMnet configuration is right now VMnet 14, right? So what will happen is that when we create two clones here, they will be both on VMnet 14, which is good, which is okay. But initially, we want temporarily the two clones to be on VMnet 8. Why? Because we need internet connection, exactly, and we need them to be activated for 180 days, right? We need the Windows operating system to be activated for 6 months or 180 days, which is more than enough for us. So guys, temporarily we want the clones, as soon as they start, they should be on VMnet 8, so they will automatically get internet connection. And as soon as the trial version of operating system gets connected to internet, it does what? It gets activated automatically right away. As soon as the trial version gets connected to internet, right? Within 10 seconds, it downloads that file and it gets activated. So what we need to do is that we're going to right click on the template machine itself. We're going to go to settings here. Otherwise, when we log in, then we change that back, it tries to grab the internet connection. So why not we simply put the template machine on VMnet 8, because and this is like after we activate the clones for 180 days, after that we're gonna put both clones back to VMnet 14. So that's a temporary configuration to get the net connection right away as a clone starts. So we will be able to get the machines activated right away, and that's the first thing that we have to do when we create the clones. So this is kind of, we can say, temporary change here. Ultimately we're going to put them back to VMnet 14 so they can communicate in a local environment, right? So VMnet 8 for the template machine, so the clones can get it and they can get activated right away. And after that, we're going to remove this configuration. We're going to put it back to VMnet 15 for both clones. Do we understand that? Do we understand all this, right? So let's go ahead guys and keep it on VMnet 8, the template machine, and press OK. Well, it's gonna get internet connection here as well. So why not we activate this one, and the clones should be activated, right? So the activation thing doesn't work with this option. If you activate this machine for 180 days, it's good. But when you create a clone, you will have to separately still activate those clones. So that's a separate procedure per clone. Template machine activation does not go to clones. Activation has to be done individually on all the clones. So that's just for the trial environment. We're doing that. So if this blue bar pops up, just click yes or no. That both doesn't matter. So here, once everything is done, we have put that back to VMnet 8 just for that activation purpose. Now we're gonna go for the Sysprep here. So right click on, yep. Any questions, anyone? All right. So right click on that Windows icon here, and or that start button there, and go to run and type Sysprep, Sysprep. And be careful here, guys. So Sysprep, and then press OK. So there is now it is living inside the Windows and then System32 and then Sysprep folder itself. And then let's double click that Sysprep, and it's a very small configuration here, not much there, but we're gonna keep it to out of box experience. This means that just make it a good end user experience there, and then click the generalize option here. And of course we do not want it to reboot, so we're gonna shut it down forever. So if this is exactly your configuration, go ahead. Here goes nothing. Oh, something. So press OK. Don't forget to click the generalize, and don't forget to click shut down, and go ahead. So it's now shutting down, and do not start it. It takes a long time to start, and then you have to go to Sysprep and go through that procedure again if by mistake you started this machine. Now this is shutting down forever now, right? Yep. Okay. So yeah, it takes a little time. So this is exactly the golden image that we call, and we must not start it by mistake. If mistake always is not intentional, so that's why we're going to go for the workaround. We're going to give it 4 megabyte RAM. So even if by mistake you power it on, it's not going to power on, right? But when we go to the clones, then you just have to change that RAM back to 4 GB, 8 GB, 16 GB. In fact, let's get the first clone 16 GB so we could do the Active Directory DNS things fast. We have total 32 GB RAM, so we can keep the first one at 16 GB, second one as 4 GB or 8 GB as well. It's still a lot of RAM. But when you go for third machine, then we have to just really be careful about that. So guys, it may be shutting down now, or it has shut down. So if it is shut down, I would just change the RAM to 4 MB, or we can make the clones, although we have to change the RAM to the second clone anyway.
For some reason, I'm not getting an IP address
For
the VM to activate.
Oh, you're like 20 years out of us.
Huh?
You're 20 years out of us. 20 years ahead.
You mean behind?
Ahead.
No.
You've created the clones already?
No, I'm still trying to get an IP address for the template.
Oh, we didn't do that on the template, but if you want to do that,
To be able to
activate the template.
yeah.
We do not have to activate the template, but if you want to,
Oh,
there's
okay.
no benefit for that. Activating the template, there's no. I didn't do that, right?
Okay.
So I didn't wait for the. But in the clones, we're gonna do that. So guys, that was just for explanation that we can enable that, but it's not gonna work. So go ahead and try that if you want to, but it's not gonna work. So in the clones, you have to enable or wait for that IP anyway. Yeah, in the clone we're going to do that. In template machine you can just shut it down with Sysprep. You don't have to wait for that. But if you want to try, it's okay. But we then have to go ahead. So while it is shut down, I'm just going to make a new folder here for 70 dash. Oh, first of all, it's MCSA 2016 folder structure I'm just creating. You do not have to do that, but if you want to, it's okay. 70-741, and that's, for me, it's morning class. Yeah. Well, I'm just doing that. You don't have to do that because you just have one kind of machines there. I have now a different type of 2 courses here, VMware and this. Okay guys, so I have AWS as well. So now if it is shut down for everyone, then I'm just gonna click the template on the left side, not on the right side. I want to keep it shut down, and in order to avoid that mistake of powering it on, so I'm just going to edit virtual machine while the template machine is shut down. So I hope it is shut down for everyone. The template machine, it's shut down or shutting down. Shutting down. Okay. Shutting down or shut down? All right, cool. Okay, guys. So shut down here, and we just need to change the RAM back to 4 megabyte. Why not to have that mistake? So I'm just gonna shut it down. It's already shut down actually, and I'm just changing it from 16 GB down to way down here, 4 MB.
Will not change the VMnet.
No, VMnet 8 has to be there. Why? Because later we need internet connection temporarily just to for 180 days. So guys, just for the template machine, I'm just putting it back to 4 megabyte here and press OK. Now that mistake will never happen. If it powers on, if you power on by mistake, it's not gonna start the virtual machine. So we're good with the 4 MB, but remember it is 4 MB. Now we're about to create the clones, and the clones need to change the RAM before we power on any clones in future, right? But this is a thing that will save us from trouble of messing up with the template. Yeah. So guys, if we have changed the RAM of the template machine, let's quickly create the clones, 2 clones here, because we have half an hour left here. So on the left side, I hope everyone's on the screen, everyone's ready, right? So let's left click that and then right click on the template machine here and go for manage and go for clone. Yay. Okay, so let's click the clone here if everyone's there. I hope everyone's there, right? Maybe it's a basic thing, I'm going too slow maybe. So just let me know if I'm going too slow. Oh, I'm going too slow. Oh, okay. So clone, and if it says 12 or 10 or 12, 14, it's okay, it doesn't matter. Next. Be careful here guys for the clone. The current state in the virtual machine, nothing to do here, right? So click next. Now there's a link clone which is slow, but it takes the memory, processor, hard disk. It uses up the resources of the template machine, but link clone is slow. So we're gonna go for full clone, which is not dependent on the template machine at all. And let's select the full clone here. And link clone is when you really are running out of space. You have a SSD drive, then you go for link clone. Still, it's a bit slower, but it's SSD gives it some boost. But we're going for full clone, which will be faster than the link clone, but it will take some more space. So let's click the full clone here and click next. Now do not change the below location here, but above we can see there that the clone of Windows 2016 TemplateVM is written here, and then your first name and the course name is written there, which is all okay. At the end, I'm just gonna start moving or removing from TemplateVM. I'm gonna remove by backspace from TemplateVM, where your first name is. Just before that, just remove everything else. And let's keep it simple now. Your first name is there already, the course name is there, so we're just gonna give it server 01, and the path must be the same. The path must be the same. So server 01, your first name, server 01, your first name, and the course code. If that's the configuration, that's what exactly we're going to be using for the second clone as well. I'm just going to select the whole thing and Control C it. So the second clone, I'm just going to paste it and change the 01 to 02, right? So the rest of the path, I'm not changing at all here. So do not change the rest of the path here. That's it. The above virtual machine name is changed. If this is done, let's click finish. It's going to take some time. It's not a dependent. If it was a link clone, it would have finished very fast, right? Full clone takes time, but it then gives you the speed. And we're going to give it 16 GB because we're going to do a lot of work on this. Yeah, if you put it on SSD by the middle of the course, there are other courses going on in this class, advanced courses. So we can put it on SSD, but then you know, when the disk is full, they cannot delete the machine, you cannot delete the machine, so nobody can use the, then you won't go ahead and they won't go ahead. So someone's machines will get deleted or transferred to the C drive.
I have a laptop with 500 gigabyte RAM
SSD, wow, perfect, yeah. So minimum 500 SSD. Don't go for 254, it's gonna fill up very fast. So 500 SSD is always good. So every Christmas time I have to buy one SSD, so I buy 500 GB SSD or 1 terabyte if it is cheaper. That really is very important. I keep on putting in my desktops.
How much is one of those these days? An SSD, say 512.
512, it's, oh
Two.
yeah, it's, when the deal is there, it's 150, 130.
Samsung Eva is 187.
Two?
Samsung Eva
Oh,
is
180,
180.
okay, that's the best one. Alright guys, so well, the clone is done.
Not quite.
Okay, ignore that. Yeah, it's already going on. Yeah, it's already going on. Okay, just ignore that I'm using on my laptop SSD. Just ignore that. But guys, it's just risky. Maybe in that lab you have SSD there, right? In that room. But no advanced courses are done there. So all VMware, Citrix, and other courses are done here. So they all need SSD. VMware starts with vCenter. So
You know, at least wipe out the Citrix, because Citrix.
still we need for VMware.
Huh?
Yeah. Oh, Citrix. Yeah, I need to wipe out that. Yeah. We don't need Citrix. In some machines I wiped out. There was someone else who was doing maintenance, but that someone else is not doing that. So wherever there is Citrix on SSD, let me know. I'll just wipe it out. Close. We know how to copy, or I will just help you copy that as well. But if there's no risk of filling up the whole this space and then both courses are stuck, so better play safe. So well, so guys, we can create a clone. This is a clone I created, and that is, you know, we haven't used it much, right, or at all right now. So I can create a second clone from this clone as well, right? Technically, I can. Is that a good idea?
No,
the
because
seed is the same.
we have the same thing.
Exactly. We have the same set. So technically, yes. Right click the clone, and it will let you clone, but it was not shut down with Sysprep. So the set will be same for the clone that gets created from the clone. So the only machine to create clones from is TemplateVM, because it was shut down with Sysprep. So we never create a clone from a clone. Okay guys, so I'm just gonna drag that to my folder structure here inside, and I'm gonna go to the template machine again and right click that again and go to manage and clone, and next create a full clone. So I'll just remain here. So is it done for you?
Continue.
Okay, so that's how the naming would be for the next clone. No, there's no no benefit in continuing. Have to be with everyone else. Ta-da. Well, we can transfer those machines after the clone is created, but by the middle of the course, we don't want to have any. Yeah, second one is always faster because it caches much of the information that was used to create for the first one. So server 2 dash your first name 70-741, but no changing of the path, and we click finito. So if you get the idea that this is the name that we're gonna get, we're gonna be putting. Everyone's first one is done. Oh,
I'm still waiting.
okay. So some of them are done, some of you are. All right. So one clone, first clone 16 because majority of the tasks will be done on first clone. Second clone can be 8 GB. So I'll go back to the diagram here, and apart from all the other tasks that we need to do, I've put here, I'll just go for 16 GB here and 8 GB here. We still have 32 GB, but we need Windows 10 as well later, so it's 8 GB. So I'm gonna put that diagram in the OneNote. OneNote can be shared with everyone who has a college email. So all my notes that I'll be creating in the OneNote software, that can be shared when you log in from your college email. So if you have a college email already, you know where to go. You know where to go to log into that? portal.office.com. So it's let me just write that too. If you have the college email, then for college email, log into https://portal.office.com. So this is always the address when you want to log in from college email. And after that, then I think I have created that 70-741 course there. If not, then tonight I'm going to create that. And in SharePoint, then I'll be needing your college emails as well. If you already have that, so, well, guys, that's a lot of information for one day. Those who don't have it, get it from the passionate guy next door. So, and he's very helpful. So, please send me your college email, or I hope I remember. Good luck with that. With me. Please send me your college email as well, whenever. So if you have time now, you can send me, or you can just have, because you're waiting anyway. Yeah, so you have to go for that. So those who have that, you can send me. You have my email already. So you can send me, of course, this information as well on my cell phone or my email. That what is your college email? So, but just if you're sending that second email as well, I would have just should have mentioned that in when you were sending that information. But just keep that information that if you have already received college email, you can just send me that information as well. In the subject, just make sure that you put 70-741 so I could know which college, which course. Normally I just send back, hey, which college, which course. So, but for this, yeah, college I remember. Okay, guys, so this is our 16 GB and 8 GB configurations that we're going to be creating for both clones here. Before we start, we have to change it back. The first server 1 configuration would be 16 GB, server 2 configuration would be, RAM configuration would be 8 GB. And this address you need to note down, because it's good to have that end user SharePoint and end user Office 365 experience right from here. Before you join any company, you should be knowing all the features there. And in that Office 365, if you're always logged in, we can chat on the Skype for Business as well. So download the Skype for Business from Office 365 and try to use all the features of your Office 365. We got the most expensive Office 365 there, the E5 Enterprise 5 package. So we could use all the features there. Okay, guys, so log into that, and then I will be adding you to the course. So, and download your Skype for Business from there, MS Office from there as well, 2016 version for your machines. You can download that into 5 machines, that Office 365. So there's a lot of facilities there, features there for you. So if you got this information, I'm just going to go away from this and create the second clone. Got this information, right? So, alright, and okay, so I'll just go to the second here, server 2, and click finito. Maybe your second clone is also done. Oh, yeah. So all the time I was talking. So okay, guys. So let's change our server 1 to 16 GB and change our server 2 to 8 GB, and
That's it.
that's kind of it. Because if we start now,
Yeah.
that's the long configuration. We have to do Active Directory DNS. Oh, first we will have to activate, then static IP rename, then snapshot, then go for Active Directory DNS DHCP PowerShell 390 users, and then we go for replica DC. Well, that's a lot of configuration. So we keep going. We understand, go do lab, understand, do lab, understand, do lab. So please recreate this environment at home. If this is created already, if you're doing that in your laptop, you can just recreate a separate 2 machines for that. And that would be your environment that you're building up separately from the class environment that we have, right? So you're doing that here at home. You have desktops or laptop. If you're planning to get that laptop, you should plan today. Right now, you should start planning and get that laptop at ASAP, right? So there is that W540 laptops. I also have that W530. W series is all heavy duty laptops, right? So it's just a one-time investment, but it's for your career. Better do it now, because now is the time to learn everything, right? And redo all the labs again and again. So be prepared for all the certifications. Go for the must-haves: Office 365, MCSA 2016, VCP 6.0, actually 6.5, and AWS. These are the must-haves, right? So ITIL, of course, after that. These are must-haves. All the industry, all the companies, you will see most jobs are for these certified, and you must have those skills. You must redo those labs again, again, and again, and again, right? So in VMware lab, that's pretty extensive, pretty long labs are there. So for that, also you need that laptop or desktop, right? So plan today, now, right? So be ready for all those certifications as well. It's not easy, but it's not impossible. Many students have already done it. They are done with that. They are looking for jobs now. Some got it. Few normally get very good jobs, but they have done all that and they have really worked hard. So this is the time to give your 200% from now, right? Get that hardware and have your plan. The plan is there in front of you now, right? First certification, second, third, fourth, fifth. And you want new files for those, you want to study for that, just ask me, but you have to, again, join the club first. Alright guys, so I'm just going to close that here, and on Friday at 9:55 we will start. That means 10, right? So if I say 10, that means 10:15. So at 9:55 sharp we start the class, right? I'm saying that, and myself, I mean, I'm running. Oh, the car! There were so many cars in the road. So anyway, let's start sharp at 10. This means that machines, you're in front of the machines, and we are like ready to go, right?
There's one guy in the car park. I want to get 2 cars to block.
Yes.
He's parked in 2 spots in the
Exactly.
middle of 2 cars.
There is that
Huh?
Volkswagen. No, it's there's no line there.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a girl.
Oh, okay.
I mentioned to her this morning, but I kind of rushed in.
You saw it.
Yeah.
So that's
Help
just
me
one.
next time, man.
Yeah.
The problem is you park behind her, but she's there all day.
Yeah.
Until 3, and she's there until 5 o'clock or something.
Oh.
How are you parked behind her?
Yeah. What's the use?
Let's go over to
You
Dana
know,
Park.
in YouTube there are videos like,
Yeah.
people who park like this.
Yeah,
They will
block-
bring like 2 months
2
and park
cars, yeah,
next to
yeah,
it
yeah.
and park it next to that, so they can't even like open the door and go.
I love to see it.